Hello, gorgeous souls. Welcome. I am super excited to be here with you again. I haven't been live for a couple of weeks. What have I been doing? I was sick uh, last week, and then I was just kind of, yeah, needed to just take some time off. And that's one of the things that I haven't always been super good at in my business is taking time off. So so I did. I took 2 weeks off, but we're back again. We are back. We are here with hi Laura. We're back. We're here with our Monday Magic hangouts. We can do whatever you want to do in this space. I am basically here for an hour. It's almost like a kind of office hours situation here where I can just help you with whatever you want help with. So if you have questions about your spiritual journey, if you have questions about writing a book, running a spiritual business, just being on the spiritual path, if you have questions about tarot or oracle card reading, or hi, hi Rose, hi Belle, so nice to see you. Or if you would like me to pull you a card, we can do that. So I have brought a deck today. It's the Galactic Guides Oracle. And just to remind you as well, I'll remind you of a couple of things. So the Galactic Guides Oracle is out now everywhere, which is super, super exciting. If you leave a review on Amazon, send me the screenshot and I'll do a short personal reading for you using the deck. And I'll send that to you over DM or via email, whatever works for you, just as a thank you, because reviews are life. Reviews are life for authors, and every single one counts like so, so much. So I'd love to offer you that as a thank you if you do grab the deck and leave a review. But here today on our live, we're just pulling cards. We're just hanging out. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, where you are, what the weather is like where you are. Oh, thank you, Rose. Thank you so much. Yeah, don't forget to send me the screenshot, because then I can I'll send you a little message and connect in with your galactic guides for you. Yeah, so let me know how you're doing. Let me know where you are. I'm here in Australia. It is really interesting to be here right now when so many people that I follow online are moving into spring. My whole feed, my whole inbox is full of happy spring and spring equinox and everything's growing and all of this stuff. We are moving into autumn. So I'm like, oh my gosh, the leaves are falling off trees. Like, it's just, it's really different. I mean, it's still, I don't know what the temperature is outside right now. I think it's about 25 degrees Celsius. So it still kind of feels like summer, but there's that little bit of, like the mornings are darker and the mornings are a little bit cooler, and everyone's so excited about summer, and it's like, oh, we have like the whole autumn and winter to get through. So tell me where you are. Let me know if you have questions. I would love to pull a card for you, or just answer any spiritual questions you have. Yeah, we can really just do whatever you want to do. So let me know. Let me know in the comments. Do you have questions? Would you like a card pulled? Yeah, Belle, I saw the other day Melbourne had like better weather than here, which is so rare. Because usually Melbourne's kind of like a good couple of degrees colder than where I am. Yeah, so that's interesting when Melbourne has good weather. Okay, I'm gonna start today with a card for Belle. Actually, Belle, before I pull your card, I just want to let everyone know who's watching. And I know people kind of come and go out of the lives, but yeah, Melbourne weather. People come and go out of the lives, but if you're here and you are into galactic energies and you're into yoga, or you're curious about yoga, especially Kundalini yoga, I would love for you to join me next week. We start on Monday with Galactic Yoga. So Galactic Yoga is 4 weeks where um, we're going to just have this experience where we connect in with different galactic frequencies. So I was waiting for like the download to come in of like which star systems we're going to connect in with. We're going to begin with, I think we're beginning with Andromeda. Then we're going to go to Sirius. Then we're going to go to Procyon, and then we're going to go to the Pleiades. So we're just going to kind of connect in with the frequencies and the energies of those different star systems while we do yoga. It's going to be amazing. If you want to find out more about that, you can just head to my wherever you're watching this. You'll find the links. Okay, a card for Belle. Ah, yes. Okay. So, Belle, I pulled you the Pleiades. The keywords are healing, compassion, understanding, and peace. And the message that's coming through for you is that it's all about self-compassion. Your guides really want you to just have a little bit more self-compassion and to just give yourself a bit of grace. And they want you just to kind of remember and reconnect in with the energy of grace, basically. But like for yourself, I feel like you're really good at being like compassionate towards other people and sending love and light towards other people. And you have like such a strong desire to serve and to support others. But yeah, there's something that you've been like really hard on yourself with lately, which, you know, I think so many of us can relate to this. This could be a message for a lot of people. But yeah, I just feel like there's this really deep kind of healing energy that kind of wants to activate within you just around just having more compassion for yourself. It's such a cliche, it's such a cliche message, but it's like just being kind to yourself and being compassionate with yourself feels like it's just so important for you right now. Yeah, okay, I'm glad that resonated. I feel like I could go on, but I feel like I don't need to. I kind of feel like that was it. That was the message. Okay. Rose is coming to Galactic Yoga. Yay! I can't wait to see you there, Rose. It's going to be so much fun. I love doing all of these weird and wonderful things with yoga and spirituality. And of course, it means that a lot of people kind of like don't get it. Like a lot of people are like, Vix, what on earth are you doing now? But it just comes in and it just wants to be created. And I just have this I just have this like really strong pull to like create this. Like it's something that I need to do. So yeah, I'm so excited about that. Okay. I'm so glad it resonated, Belle. Okay, so this is a card for Rose. Andromeda. Okay, so we're getting all the star systems that we're going to connect to within Galactic Yoga next week. Andromeda, spiral path, higher light, and deeper love. I feel like you're at a point in your journey where you're ready to go deeper. And the deeper we go, the higher we go. And this is something that's kind of been coming through a lot for different people lately. But this idea that the deeper you go, whether that is the deeper that you go into your shadow, into your own stuff, into your connection with the earth, the connection with your body, the connection with Mother Nature, with Gaia, you know, the shadow stuff, like all of that stuff, like the deep rooted roots of, you know, your earth star, your base chakra, like all of that stuff. The deeper that you go into that, the higher that you go into your crown chakra, your soul star chakra, your stellar gateway, like all of the higher chakras. And so I feel like for you, Rose, you're on this beautiful journey where you've already gone so far and you've activated so much and you've gone deep and you've gone high. There's also something about going wide, coming through here as well. It's like, okay, now we're going even deeper, we're going even higher, and we're going even wider. And so it feels like you're kind of at this beautiful place. And this is like a really nice place to be as we move into like the equinox in a couple of days, where you're just like the expansion, like there's just so much expansion available for you and creating within you and around you. It feels really beautiful. But I feel like the message here is like to go wider and to go higher and to have that brighter radiance and that even bigger experience with all of the things that you're already experiencing. The first thing to do is to go deeper. And I also feel like it's going deeper into the teachings that you resonate with, deeper into your body, the earth. It really feels like it's like, oh, I wonder if something really exciting is going to happen in galactic yoga for you. Like you're going to go deeper and it's going to just like, widen everything and like, yeah, just have a more beautiful experience. But I feel like you're just kind of at this, this really beautiful kind of like transition point where things are kind of going to open up and expand for you in like so many areas of your life. So it feels really, really exciting. I love that. Okay, I hope that resonated for you. Okay, I'm just having a look at the comments. So the way that I do these lives is I'm on Instagram and I'm on YouTube and I'm on Facebook all at the same time. So I just need to like keep checking in. Okay, card for Laura. Okay, Laura, let's see what your message is today. You have Scorpio. Wow. Okay. Scorpio, magic, sexuality, intensity, and secrecy. So, Laura, I feel like for you, there is some really, another message here about depth and going deeper. And I feel like there's some work for you to do with your sacral chakra and your root chakra, like the lower chakras. And I don't feel like it's work for you to do in the sense that there's anything wrong in those chakras, but it's more just like focusing your energy there. Feels again like really similar message to what Rose has had. Feels like the more you focus on those two chakras, the root and the sacral, the more you focus on just balancing those out, the more that's kind of going to just help create like the clearer channel for you. So yeah, there's nothing like wrong with your chakras. It's just like focus there, focus on strengthening, on clearing, whatever you feel like you need to do in those two chakras, because that feels like it will help you to just kind of like raise your frequency and raise your energy a little bit more at the moment. But yeah, it's like, it's not like big stuff. It's just like, oh yeah, that would be useful if you did a little bit of that. It could help kind of just clear the channel a little bit. Okay, I hope that resonates. Magda, a messaging from the UK, spring is on the way. Well, I mean, I lived in the UK for like 10 years. And you're so welcome, Laura. I lived in the UK for 10 years, so I appreciate what it feels like when it's finally spring. It's like so needed. Okay, so this card is for you, Magda. Let's see what your message is. And you also have Andromeda. Okay, spiral path, higher light, and deeper love. So your message is a little bit different with what's coming through for you with Andromeda. There's a message here around repeating patterns in your life. And your guides want you to know that when we repeat patterns, you've probably heard this before, but just in case, or for anybody else who's kind of resonating with this, it can sometimes feel like on the spiritual journey that we're kind of going around in circles. We're like repeating the same lessons, we're repeating the same patterns, and it's like, oh my gosh, when am I going to get off this wheel of karma where I'm just kind of going around and around repeating the same thing. But Andromeda brings this message of, we're not just going around and around on a hamster wheel, we're actually going around and around on a spiral. So each time we experience something, each time we meet with a particular challenge or something specific, a block, that's kind of been coming back around. Every time we reach it, we're reaching it at a different point on the spiral. And each time we reach it, we have an opportunity to say, okay, how can I deal with this differently this time? With all of the wisdom that I have gained since the last time this came up for me, with all of the work that I've done on myself, how can I approach this differently this time? And then we approach it differently and we have a slightly different experience, and then we move forward, and then it comes back around again. And we're like, oh, okay, here we are again. How can I come to this time with an even more expanded and an even wiser kind of experience and energy? So the more that we kind of do that, each time we come to that place on the spiral, on the cycle, we're expanding and we're more open. And it's kind of like, imagine like the spiral. At the beginning, it's kind of like this just little point, of like, oh, that was really hard to get through. And then it becomes kind of more expansive, and we start to see things more clearly, and we're like, okay, I think I know why I have this block now. I think I'm starting to understand why maybe we still have it, but at least we're having, a bit of a higher experience, a bit of a different experience with it. So for you guides want you to know that it may feel like you're repeating these same things over and over again, but you're not, because each time you're shifting and you're changing something. And there are lots of things you can do to really kind of like shift stuff quickly, more easily, so that you're not just constantly like, oh, here it is again, okay, here it is again, but you're kind of like actively working with these points. There's lots of things you can do. Kundalini yoga is one of them, and it works fantastically for clearing energy and for releasing blocks and kind of unsticking the things that are stuck. But there's lots of other spiritual practices that you can do. Being aware is like the best thing you can do. And whenever you have a challenge come up, looking at it differently, that feels like the biggest message for you right now, is like each time these things come round, look at them a little bit differently with the new knowledge that you have, with the new wisdom and experience you have. Approach things differently. And that was kind of long, but hopefully you got something from that. Hopefully that resonated and you were able to kind of get my point there. Oh, I'm so glad it resonated. Fantastic. Okay, we have a question from Silvano. Should I quit my current area of studies and pursue my spiritual interests and make a living out of it? Okay, so I have things to say about that. Okay, let's start here. First of all, whenever we're getting a reading, whether we're reading for ourselves or whether we're getting a reading for somebody else, asking, should I do this, is not like the most empowering way that we can ask our questions. So putting your power over to me or any other reader, or to your cards when you're doing a reading for yourself, asking, should I do this, is like a very heavy loaded question. And ultimately, like, when we read cards, we're not just asking the cards, we're asking our higher selves, we're asking our guides, our angels, whoever's around, whoever we want to connect with. We're asking our intuition, however you want to see that. But giving all of our power away and saying, should I do this, is kind of like, I personally don't feel like it's the best way to ask a question. So a better way to ask a question is like, what do I most need to know about what I'm doing right now? What do I most need to know about potentially quitting this and pursuing something else? So yeah, I feel really, really strongly about that, because I see, and this isn't just for you, Silvano, this is for like everybody who's watching, everybody who's kind of tuning in, and just to kind of think about how we ask questions. when we're reading. Should I do this? Well, what are you going to do if the cards say yes? What are you going to do if the cards say no? Like, oh, with cards said, I should quit my job, so I better quit my job. It's like, I feel like there's so much in this. It's like, well, what do you want to do? Like, well, what do you want to do? And I feel like my guides and angels say that to me all the time when I'm trying to make a decision. What would be best for me? What would be most in alignment with my highest good? And then they kind of say, well, what do you want to do? So the card I have for you, based on this question of like, what do we most need to know about the situation? It's full moon, fertility, gratitude, abundance, and divine feminine. So I feel like one of the things that's kind of coming through with that is that right now, instead of, so it feels like right now there's kind of like an energy within you that's like, I don't want to be here, I want to be there. And I think we can all relate to that. I don't want to be here, I want to be over there already. And the thing that's going to help you make this decision is to be here now and to focus on gratitude and just being where you are right now. That's going to help you to figure out which way that you want to go. And it feels to me like as soon as I saw your question, I felt like that wasn't even really the question. The question isn't, should I do this or should I do that? The question is more like, well, the energy, like the answer to the question is like, well, right now you don't really have to choose. Right now you don't have to choose. Right now, what you can do, if you want to, if this resonates, is to stay on your current path, but put some more energy and focus and time into your spiritual practices and your work that you're doing there, and then see how that feels. So I see a lot of people do this, and this is kind of like a general message for people who are interested in doing spiritual work full time. You don't have to just kind of like quit your job and go into spiritual work full time. You don't have to like give up your whole life and go into the temple and like that's it. And I think the reason that we have this idea about spiritual work is because that's how it used to be back in the day. And a lot of us have had past lives in Atlantis, in Egypt, in Sumeria, in all these places where we had like this temple system and this structure and this way of being, where at some point, you turn 16 or 13 or however old it was that you needed to be in that culture, and they pick you out and they'd say, you've got what it takes to be a priest or a priestess, and they put you in the temple and they take you and they train you, and that would be your life, And like, I think some of us forget that actually here in modern times, we don't have to kind of like choose between, I'm going to do this work for a living and I have to like say goodbye to my whole entire other life. It's like, we can do both. We can suss it out. We can, this is what I did with when I made the transition into doing this work full time. I started off doing like readings on the weekends and in evenings on the side of my other work. Because, it takes time to find clients and to get people to know about you. And I'm still very much in that space of like, that's why I'm doing these lives, because it's like, hi, hi, I'm a reader. I can like pull cards for you, and we can sit here in this space. And I always feel like I come to this space just to be of service to whatever anybody needs for an hour. But like, this is the stuff that you want to start doing. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to quit doing that and I'm just going to focus on this. A lot of people, whether it's a spiritual business or you're just starting your own business, any kind of business, it can take years to get to where you want to be, to get to a point where you're actually making money. That's not to say it has to take that long, but it can. So part of this, there's an intuitive message here, but there's also just some general advice, like one business owner to another, to go slowly and start to kind of do spiritual work, do some readings, do some healings, whatever it is that you think you want to do. and give it a go. Try it out. Do it on the weekend, do it on the evenings, and see if this is really something that you want to do, and then start to kind of build and grow that. And if it starts to kind of take over your whole life, which is what it did for me, then maybe that's a sign that that's what you're supposed to be doing. And if you start doing it and you're like, actually, I just I do not want to stay on this path, I don't want to keep doing my studies, I don't want to go down that direction, all I want to do is this, then you have your answer. And if you start doing spiritual work and you're like, no, this isn't for me, then you have your answer. So I feel like your guides really want you to just kind of experience it. They want you to kind of give it a go, do a little bit of it and see how it feels, see how it sits with you, see how people respond to your work with them. And then you'll know, like I did like 100 free readings was part of what I did at the very beginning of my journey. I did 100 free readings for people. And at the end of that, I had so many people that gave me like really positive feedback that I was like, okay, maybe I can do this, But if you do 100 free readings for people and you don't get a lot of positive feedback, then, maybe it's not. Maybe you're a healer instead, or maybe you do something else. That was a really, really long answer to that. But I feel like last time I jumped on a live here, there were so many other people who were kind of in that same position where they wanted to like run their own spiritual business, but they were kind of like having anxiety about quitting their job and like, what am I going to do? And it's like, you don't have to do that. You start slowly and you just kind of start putting yourself out there, and you go, you get on Instagram and you say, hey, I'm available for readings. And you see what happens. Yeah. And you see what happens. And if it takes off, then it takes off. And if it doesn't, then you follow, you go where you're guided. Now, that's become one of my catchphrases of just like, you go where you're guided, go where you're guided. And if you feel like you're being taken in that direction, then go in that direction and see what's there. But it doesn't have to be like an all or nothing thing with anybody running a business. Okay. I'm glad that resonated. Okay, Pinky Smile 19. Okay, Manasseh. Okay, let's pull you a card. And for those who have just jumped on, we are chatting today. If you have spiritual questions, if you have questions about the spiritual path, the spiritual journey, if you would like me to pull you a card, then please just post in the comments and let me know, and I will pull you a card. So this reading is for Manasseh, Pinky Smile 19, Cancer, nourishment, self-protection, and intuition. So a couple of things coming here for you. Really, really important message for you around self-care and protecting your energy. I feel like you're really, really, you're such an empath. Like, I feel like you pick up on so much energy. Like, you pick up everybody else's stuff. You pick up everybody else's energy. And yeah, it's beautiful, like being an empath is a beautiful thing, because empaths are generally like really loving and compassionate and beautiful people, but you can take on too much of everybody else's stuff. And that's when empaths start to become jaded or resentful. And I'm not saying that's you at all, but it's like, let's not go there. So I feel like your guides really want you to do some extra work on self-love, looking after yourself, filling your own cup first, and protecting yourself, protecting your energy. So there's loads and loads of information about energy protection in my book, Witch Please, or over on my blog, you'll find loads of stuff there. A really good way to protect your energy is just to visualize yourself in a beautiful shield of light, a bubble of light, a shield of light, a sphere of light. You can do different shapes. You can do a pyramid. You can do like a tube. There's so many different ways that you can visualize it. But the bubble, the shield of light, like a beautiful big sphere all around your aura. So it's really far out. So if you hold your hands out like this, it's like, beyond your hands and beyond your head and beyond your feet. And just visualize this beautiful golden white light all around you, or you can do blue. Blue is a really beautiful protection color as well. And just visualize yourself in that sphere of light, and then just affirm, I am protected. And then do that like a couple times a day and see how that shifts. See how that shifts energy for you. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. So Pinky Smiles just said it feels stuck sometimes. My birthday is tomorrow and I'm feeling really low energy. Yeah, I feel like you're probably picking up a lot of stuff, like other people's stuff. Like your low energy is probably coming from an experience that you're having with other people, other people around you who are probably low energy. You're like taking that on. So the more you do the shield, the more you do these visualizations and affirmations that you're protected, then the more you should be able to start to kind of like be like, oh, okay, that person's not in a good space today, but I am. And happy birthday for tomorrow. I also want to touch on this though. A lot of people are feeling weird right now. So let's talk about that for a second, because I've seen this as like a collective thing that's happening at the moment where people are really kind of feeling a lot of feelings. People's stuff is coming up. People are just feeling weird. They're tired. They're just weird stuff's happening. Like people are just kind of in a weird space. And I was talking to a couple of friends on WhatsApp the other day about this, and we were just talking about how the change of seasons really affects us. Like it really affects us, even if we're going into a season that we really like. There's a shift, there's a shift in the earth. There's a shift in the in the world around us, and we are really picking up on that, whether we're aware of it or not. Whether we're consciously like, oh my gosh, it's the equinox in a couple of days, so we're going to be going through this this portal, this transformation portal, or whether we have no idea and we're just like, oh, I feel weird. Going through the solstice and the equinox, these are powerful portals. These are really, really powerful portals for transmutation, for change, for whatever we want them to be. But the kind of like the week before something really big is kind of shifting and changing and happening, can bring up a lot of stuff to the surface. Like a lot of people are kind of like, why am I thinking about this stuff that I haven't thought about for years and years? So that's coming up to the surface because that's your guides or your intuition showing you, we're done with this. Okay, we're not going to bring this through the equinox portal. We're going to leave that behind. So look at it, process it, go, oh, okay, why am I thinking about this? That's weird. Okay, I'm going to let that go so that we don't have to carry it through the portal. A lot of people are just feeling feelings. I had like some anger come up, and for me that was really unusual because I'm not an angry person. So that was interesting. I did some yoga and I shifted some of that because I was like, I don't want to take that with me into the next season. But these shifts, like as the earth shifts and the temperature changes and the trees are changing, like everything's changing. So it's not surprising that we're feeling it. Like we get into the season and we're like, oh, okay, it's spring, yay. And then it's like summer, yay. I feel like the equinox is a bigger shift. Like to me, the equinox always feels like spring, like going into autumn or going into spring is a really big change. It's a really big change. So there's a lot of full-on energy coming up. So for anybody that's feeling weird at the moment, you should start feeling better by like after the equinox. So by Wednesday, you should feel better. And if you don't, then you might have something else to kind of work through. But if you're just kind of having like a general feeling of like, I just feel weird, I just feel low, I just feel like something's stuck or whatever, then it could just be that we're shifting into the equinox portal. So this is a really good time. Transformation is like what the equinox does. It's all about transformation. So think about what it is that you don't want to take with you into the next season. And what I always like to do on the equinox is I spend some time and I go, okay, I'm done with that. I'm leaving that behind. And then I kind of sit down and think about and write down what it is that I want to experience in the next few months. And that can be a really nice practice to kind of help you to go into the next cycle and the next season like fully empowered. Okay, I hope that was useful for someone. Okay, Amanda. This is a card for Amanda on Insta. Hopefully you're still there. Okay. Your card is. Do you love when your oracle card reader just starts laughing when they pull your card? You've got Pluto. And this is why I'm laughing. Revelation, transformation, death and rebirth, liberation. So in these cycles of transformation, it can feel difficult and it can feel hard and it can feel really, really uncomfortable, but that is how we grow. That is how we get to the next place. That is how we ascend, reach enlightenment, whatever kind of language you want to use around that. But this is how we become liberated. So I feel like there's something in your life right now, Amanda, where you're kind of like, you want to be free of something, you want to be like done with a certain pattern or cycle or something that's kind of coming up for you. And I feel like this week you have like, I'm getting goosebumps. Like this week you have like a really powerful portal here where you can just say to the universe and to yourself, I'm done with that experience. Like I'm not going to keep kind of replaying that tape or that record. And there's like this visualization that's kind of like coming through for you. And this could be metaphoric, or you could see yourself doing this visualization as well, where you've got like a record that's on repeat and you can visualize like what's on that record, whether it's something to do with your mindset, your beliefs about yourself, something somebody else has told you, just a repeating pattern, like something that's kind of been not working in your life, and you see that written on the record, like that, the middle of the record that says like what song or what album it is. And like visualize yourself going to the record player, taking off the needle, pulling the record out and just like smashing the shit out of it. And then like just like throwing it out. Like that's done. I'm not going to take that with me. So that could be like a useful kind of visualization to do, or it could just be that's how your guides are showing me it, because they're like, this is what's going to happen. Like we're going to really just be done with this now. And people always ask me that, because we always talk in spiritual communities about like, oh, just got to clear that, like just clear the energy, or just clear this thing, let it go. We're always like, oh, write it down and let it go. It's like, how do you actually do that? Like, how do you actually let it go? It kind of doesn't matter how many practices you do, how many times you write something down and you burn it, or how many times you say to your guides, take this please, or give it to the angels or whatever. If you don't fully believe or commit or intend that this is what is going to happen now, then it kind of doesn't matter. Like these practices can help a little bit, but ultimately the thing that's going to help the most when you want to release and let something go is a really strong intention where you just decide, I'm done with that now. And if you think about things in your life that you've been able to like let go and release, a lot of the time we let go and release just by having an intention of like, nah, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to smoke anymore. I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to eat animals anymore. I'm not going to like be mean to myself anymore. I'm not going to do that. And occasionally things will come up and someone will offer you a drink or a cigarette. I'm just using these as examples. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, now I've got to decide, like, am I going to stick with that? And sometimes we move out of that. Sometimes we make a really strong decision to be done with something and it creeps back in. But we always have the ability to say, no, actually, I'm good, thanks. Or we say, yeah, okay. And then we go, oh, okay, I did that one time, but I'm, that's an exception to what I'm to what I really want to experience and what I'm experiencing now. So that's like huge. And I think that's a message for everybody really around how to let go. You let go by just deciding that you're done with that experience. And then you use all your spiritual tools to kind of help you magnify that intention and to help you kind of solidify it. And spiritual practices can be good because then every time you feel yourself veering away from that decision that you made or that intention that you set, the practices can pull you back. So I hope that was useful. Um, yeah, so I'm not sure what you're going through, but it feels like this week can be really powerful for you for just like deciding I'm done with that experience. Um, yeah. Yeah, because we like to make it complicated, right? Like we like to think that, oh, it's gonna take me years to change my life, or it's gonna take me, so long to change this or to shift this. And sometimes it does. Like I've had things in my life where I've wanted to shift it and it's taken years, it's taken years for it to shift. And then other things where it's just kind of happened in like, an 11-minute practice of some yoga or some mantra or something that I've been doing that's just kind of like, yeah, I'm ready to just let that go. Hi Shaz, hi Erin. Okay, so we still have a bit of time. Yes, Shaz, you can absolutely have a card. Let's pull a card for Shaz. For those who have just joined, or if you asked for a card at some point, but I missed it and I didn't do the reading for you, please comment again. It's difficult because I'm looking at two different screens to kind of keep track of messages and stuff. So if you did already ask a question, asked for a card, and I didn't do it, please comment again. Yeah, so we've got Shaz and then we've got Erin. And then anyone else who would like a card, please just ask in the comments. Okay, so this is for Shaz. Uranus, revolution, rebellion, eccentricity, and progress. So we're getting a lot of messages today about change, about change and transformation. And it's so interesting, here in Equinox Week, that we're getting all of these, people getting told that they're ready to change and shift something. So yeah, for you, Shaz, it feels like there's some really amazing stuff that's kind of shifting. For you, I feel like there's some like energy stuff, like something that you might have been holding in your auric field for like years and years and years. It might even be past life stuff that feels like it's kind of like just at the very outer reaches of your aura. Like you've been working on this for a really long time and it's kind of been like, okay, I'm releasing this from my body. Okay, I'm releasing this from my emotional body. Okay, I'm releasing this from my mental body. Okay, I'm releasing this from, and you've done all this work on releasing this thing, or maybe it's a couple of things, and you've pushed them really, really far to like the outer reaches of your aura, and they're almost gone. They're almost gone. And what I'm seeing for you, and I think it's going to happen like over the next week, this equinox portal, is like you just that final push of like, I'm done with that, that's gone now, I'm released, I'm healed. I feel like healing, like the word healing is really coming through. I feel like pushing that stuff out is going to be really, really healing for you. And they're also saying like another way to kind of like do the final push of that energy like out of your aura is to fill your aura with like diamond white light, gold light, rainbow light, whatever kind of light you want to fill it with, to just fill your aura with all good things. And then it's like it's got no space to it's like the little bits at the outer corners of your aura, they've got no space to hang on anymore, so they'll just kind of fly on right out. And that's actually something that that's like a good thing for everybody to be doing. Like we talk a lot about clearing energy. And, we're like, okay, do the visualization and the white light's coming down and it's clearing you and whatever. But if we don't fill ourselves with something, then all the stuff that we just cleared will just kind of come back in. So making sure that you're full means that other stuff can't get into your aura as much. Can still happen, but it's much harder for negative energy or for negative thoughts that you're creating or for stuff that other people are sending you or you're picking up just out and about. It's much, much harder for that stuff to attach to you or get a hold of you or to, find its way in when you're full, when your aura is full. So I always do practice like every morning where I clear my energy and then I call in like all this stuff and I'm like, I want confidence and I want white light and I want Christ consciousness and I want, all of all these different things. And then it's like, by the time I've done that, there is no space for like anything else to be in there. So work with that practice, see how it works for you. Okay, Nicole. Mirella Bruja, you're next. Just because I know you asked before, I remember. Okay, this is for Erin. Erin, this is beautiful. You have the sun, vitality, life force, and energy. I feel like you've got some guides with you who really like holding the solar frequencies. So they're really holding like this really high frequency of light. And it feels really, really beautiful. It feels really, really beautiful and really, really vibrant and really available to you. And so if you've been feeling like the sun is such a, it's like the sunniest, most beautiful day. It's like joy and sunshine and energy and like just skipping through fields of flowers. And it's like, feels so like high vibe and beautiful. And that is like, that's just, we all want to feel that, right? We all want to feel that. I feel like that's so available to you right now. And if you've been feeling like not like that, then it's good news, that this sun energy is available to you. I feel like your guides are really pointing you towards the consciousness of joy. And we are all, well, I don't want to say we're all not very good at this, but most of us struggle with joy as one of like the things that we put our time and energy into, like we're also concerned with getting work done and getting chores done and getting stuff done. Most of the time we're not just saying to ourselves, you know what, I'm going to carve out like 3 hours at sometime this week and all I'm going to do is things that bring me joy. I'm going to carve out half an hour sometime this week and all I'm going to do is something that brings me joy. I feel like your guides, these really like high vibe, like solar energy guides, they just want you to do something that's going to bring you joy, because the more you do that, the more you're going to be able to connect with them and the easier it's going to be for you to do anything, like whatever it is that you want to do, whether you want to just have like a clearer kind of ability to hear your own guides more clearly, whether there's other things going in your life that you want to manifest something, whatever it is, it's just like this is your key. This is like the key. The key is joy. And the more fun you're having and the more you're excited about life and the more things you're doing that are bringing you joy, then everything else, it's like we were talking with Shaz about like filling your aura. The more you're feeling joy, negative energy can't come to you when you're feeling joy. And like we live in this society, it's really interesting. We live in this society where it's like, oh, interesting that, we've created this society where there's no space for joy. There's no space for our inner child to have some fun. It's like, yeah, because they don't want us to have fun, They want us all to be like just doing your work and don't worry about that stuff. But joy is the key to everything. Okay. I feel like I've talked a lot about that. Okay. I'm so glad that resonated. Okay. This is for Mira Labruja. For those who've just joined, if you would like me to pull you a card, just post in the comments. Okay, Mira Labruja, you have Virgo. Practicality, patience, organization, and details. Okay, so here's a practice that's going to help you navigate through the equinox portal. Clean up. Clean up. Clean up. So I feel like I need to tell you this story. On the weekend, I cleaned out my closet and it was so deeply healing. It was a spiritual practice. I let things go that I haven't worn, that I don't love or even really like. I found things that I have never worn but actually do really like, and it's like, why have I never worn that? I really like that thing. So I let a lot of stuff go and I reconnected with the things that I really did like. Tried on all my clothes and that was really fun. That was like a joy, like a fun, joyous thing. I had a teacher who said, if there's anything wrong in your life, like anything that's kind of going wrong in your life, if you're stuck in any area of your life, clean out your closet. And I just felt that, I really, really felt that. It's like, wow, okay. So what's coming through for you is like clean out your closet. If you don't have a closet or if your closet is already cleaned, then clean out something else. Clean out the sock drawer, go through your cupboard in the kitchen, whatever it is that needs cleaning out, clean it out, because that is just going to become it's just a mirror. It's just a mirror. It's a really good book that's called, what's the book called? It's like The House as a Mirror to the Soul or something like that. And this whole book is about how your house is just like a mirror. And it's like we talk about altars, your altar is a mirror to what you want to see the world reflecting back to you. So, think of your closet as like a mirror. Think of your house as a mirror for what you're experiencing. And if, you want to you want to get unstuck, move some stuff around. Donate some stuff to charity. Get rid of stuff in your closet. Tidy, put all your clothes in color order. Whatever your thing is. But doing something in the physical feels like it'd be really good for you right now. Mira, it's like something in the physical that represents what you want to experience in your life. And that's all magic is, really. We light candles and we say, I want to experience this. And the candle is like this action that, brings this intention into the physical. Okay. Let me see where we're at. I'm so glad that resonated, Erin. Yeah, responsibilities, chores. Yeah. End of winter. Yeah, it's interesting, how this change of season is affecting us all so much. Even those I've spoken to who are in winter, who are moving into spring, are still really feeling the challenge of it. Okay, great day to be Faye. I love your screen name. Okay, your card is Saturn. Discipline, maturity, structure, and leadership. So your guides are coming through here with a message around it's being time to step up. It's time to step up. It's time to step up and move into a new experience with yourself, with your life. But in order to do that, you have to do the work and show up. It kind of feels like you're trying to manifest something and it hasn't happened yet, but it's like your guides are just saying you need to just put a little bit more oomph into it, just put a little bit of push. They can help you make it happen, but we have to kind of start the engine. you know? So, yeah, there's some I love the Saturn card. It's so challenging. It's such a challenging card for people because so many of us, we don't wanna do the discipline. We don't wanna do the maturity or the structure. But these are the things that change our lives. So an example from my life is when I started my business, I was not somebody that was good at that kind of stuff. Like I couldn't um I really struggled to organize myself to get to have any kind of routine or ritual that would, help me to like to get things done. So I had to really go through this whole process of like, I'm going to have to actually have discipline. I'm going to have some structure. I'm going to have to really like knuckle down and nail it down so that I can make this thing happen. And I feel like there's something for you around that too, around if you really want to make something happen, whatever it is that you're trying to make happen in your life, like these are the things that you need to do to make it happen. And for some people, it's like, well, they don't want to do that. So that's fine. So then you'll do something else. But, another example from my life is writing a book. Everyone wants to write a book, or not everyone, but a lot of people want to write books. Also, if you're watching this and you want to write a book, let's connect because I am offering author mentoring where I can help you and support you in writing your book. But if you want to write a book and you don't have any discipline and you don't have any like time management, you're not going to write a book. You're not going to write a book. Like it's not going to happen, right? Like how are you going to write a book if you can't sit down and force yourself to just, okay, I'm just going to do 1,000 words. That's the difference between someone that's got an idea for a book and someone that writes a book is discipline and structure. So the difference between people who have big dreams and people who make their dreams happen, this is the Saturn energy. This is the difference between having a dream and making it happen. I hope that makes sense. Yes, it does. Okay, yay. Okay. The process of buying a house. Okay, so you might need to be like disciplined with that. Yeah, but that's how you make it happen. And then you've got to, and then you go through this process of like, okay, we've got to be more disciplined with money. We've got to be more disciplined with like, how we're spending our time, like whatever you need to do to make that happen. And then, like however many months later, you're in a totally different house and you've made your dream come true, right? So that's how we do it. We need the Saturn energy. Mira Labruja just said that made a lot of sense. I'm glad that resonated. Really want to cut my hair too. Yeah, cut your hair. Let it go. Let it I love that as a practice. I know a lot of people, a lot of people in spiritual communities don't cut their hair. So it's like so many different ways to think about hair in spirituality. But I'm personally a fan of a few times in my life when I've been through some big things, like cutting my hair. It's felt really good. Okay, this is a card for Julia, who is with us over on Facebook. I think this might be our last one. Okay, Julia, Scorpio, magic, sexuality, intensity, and secrecy. This is the second time we've seen Scorpio today. So Scorpios are pretty it's a pretty intense kind of energy. I feel like you've been going through some like intense times. And so sometimes this card comes up to give us some like support with what's kind of going on. Like when it's like a mirror. It's like your guides are saying, we see you, like we can see what's been happening. We see that it's been really, really tough. I feel like this, again, this week, we're going through the equinox in a couple of days. I feel like this portal is going to be really, really healing and powerful for you, Julia, that it's going to help you to shift something that you've been like carrying around for a really long time. So make sure that you're like holding that intention. I also feel like it'd be really good for you, Julia, to do like a really kind of deep cleaning of your aura. and this is a great time for everybody to be doing this, right? Like spring clean your aura. I actually did a class last year called Spring Clean Your Aura, where we just did a practice. We went through a whole bunch of practices to help just clear ourselves as we're going through the equinox portal. But just like, what do you want to let go? What do you want to leave behind you as you move through this portal? I also feel like for you, there's some things that you're not talking about that would be really good for you to talk about, whether that means that you want to go to therapy or just want to share with friends, or another good way to talk about what's going on for you is to just write in a journal or to talk to your guides and angels. So, maybe for a lot of people, therapy's not available because we can't afford it, or we don't have access to it, or whatever. If you're in that situation, something that you can do is like talk to your guides and angels. Talk to your guides and angels and set aside like half an hour, and just say, this is my therapy session with my guides and angels, and I'm just going to talk to them about what's coming up for me. I actually did this last week. And I was just feeling a lot of feelings. I had a lot of stuff coming up, like equinox and all this stuff. And I just sat down and I was just like, this, I'm thinking about this, and this is upsetting me. This is coming up. And I just kind of talked it all through, and then all of this guidance started coming through. Like all of the answers start to come through, and that's what happens. That's how we connect with our guides and angels. We start saying all these things. I'm confused about this. Why is this happening? What's going on? And then the answers start to drop in, whether you feel like that's just, whether you feel like that's your guides giving you the answer, or you're just figuring it out as you go, or whatever. Like that's how we get the answers. So I feel like that would be really good for you, Julia. I'm hearing for you, there's some things that need to be said or expressed that haven't been said or expressed yet. And it would be great for you to do that. It would be great for you to do that just before we go through the equinox portal, so that when you come out on the other side, it's like, that's been said, that's been released, that's been healed. Like I said, you can just say it to your guides. You don't have to tell another person what's kind of happening for you. But yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that's useful for others too. Okay, gorgeous souls, that is it from Magick Monday. I am so grateful to everybody who has joined today, everyone who's been hanging out, everyone who's connected. I hope that you got some guidance that you needed. I hope that it was useful for you. It's always an honor and a joy to be able to sit in this space and pull you some cards and have a chat about all of this spiritual stuff. So thank you so much for being here. I am sending you so much love, and I wish you so much love and light as you move through the equinox portal. May it be very, very healing for you. May you release and transform into an even higher, more beautiful, more grounded version of yourself as you move through these next couple of days. And yeah, I'm just sending you all so much love, and I'll see you next week. Lots and lots of love.